Hey everyone, and welcome to a new video. And today we are here to talk about the Nintendo Entertainment System, your favorite system. I'm finally talking about it. So I just want to go back to the history of the Nintendo, me and the Nintendo pretty much. So back when I was a kid, my mom had surprised me with an NES at Christmas. I was shocked because I didn't ask for one. But years later, I actually asked her why she bought me the system. She said, "Oh, I thought it was nice because the other kids had it. You know, I thought you would like it." I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." So, but anyways, I had only pretty much experienced the system at friends' houses. I remember one of my friends went to his house. He showed me the gold cartridge, which was Zelda. He said we couldn't play because his dad would get mad because we weren't allowed to play that game because his dad didn't want us messing up the save pretty much. So I only briefly got to see Zelda a little bit, and then I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then at my other friend's house, I got to play Punch-Out for the first time, and I had a great time with that. So right out of the box, my Nintendo system did not work properly. We put the game in, and the options just would not move, and we didn't understand what was going on. And then we figured out that I had the controller plugged in number 2 instead of number 1 when we tried to play Mario Brothers. So once we fixed that issue, everything worked fine. So I had 3 games for the system when I first got it. And those included Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, of course, and Wild Gunman. Now, I wasn't really a fan of Wild Gunman because I just wasn't good at it back then. But I did like Mario Brothers because, I don't know, there was something about it just beating that first level that kind of hooked me as a kid. So I wanted to try to get further and further. And I did so, I want to say, over a 3-month period. Now, I probably would have beaten the game a bit sooner than that, but I remember at the time, I got in trouble at school because I got into a fight and my dad put me on punishment. So I lost, I think, a good 2 or 3 weeks of playing video games. But looking back at it, I actually did get some more gaming time in. I remember when I was supposed to go to bed, I would put a little towel under my door so there's no light coming out of my room, and I get a little gaming on in. But it was very, very scary because if my dad caught me, it would have been over pretty much. He would have tore that system out of the wall. So I had to be very quiet, playing Mario Brothers with no sound and everything. But it's pretty hilarious. But actually, I think my dad started to catch on because next thing you know, when I go to play the system, there's no AC cord. So, oh man, this is bringing back a lot of funny memories in my early days. But anyways, going back to the system, I did enjoy the NES a lot. And I remember watching my brother play games. And by watching him play, I would get better at the games. Like one of the games was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. When I saw him go through Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, I kind of figured out my way of how to play the game. I remember he got the Mike Tyson, and this was, man, getting the Tyson was brutal back then because, we didn't have any guides really. There was a 1-800 number, but nobody was trying to call that. So my brother did it the old school way, got the Tyson, and beat Tyson. He didn't beat him the first time I got to him, but he beat Tyson by decision, which was insane. So I was like, wow, dude, that's crazy. Getting out of the first round was dangerous back then. So you get out of the first round, you're okay. But anyways, what this video is pretty much going to be about is that I want to tell you guys about my favorite Nintendo games. Now, I don't own all my favorite games, so only the games I own are going to be in this video. And I'm trying to get this video out there because I feel like I don't talk about the NES at all pretty much. So I want to pretty much put it all out there with what I have for this system, And some of you guys have seen my game room tour, my NES collection there, but I actually sold a lot of those games or traded them. So, unfortunately, some games are not going to be in this list that you guys would expect me to have. No Mario, unfortunately. No Ninja Gaiden, which, oh man, I know, right? No, not even Ninja Gaiden 2. That's not going to be in the list. So it does get an honorable mention though. Ninja Gaiden 2 or Ninja Gaiden 2, whatever you want to call it. But I am occasionally still picking up NES games here and there. But like I said, a lot of games that you guys are probably expecting are going to be omitted from this list. Now, I have some of these games that you're probably looking for on other systems. Like I have Mario 2 and 3 on the Game Boy Advance, and I have all the Zeldas on the Game Boy Advance as well. So there's that. But anyways, guys, the Nintendo has brought a lot of joy to my life. I really enjoyed the system, and I think it's awesome. And it's even better that they're still making games for it to this day. But now we're finally going to get into my favorite games. Let's take a look. All right, Super Contra had to be on this list. I love this game way more than the original Contra. I felt like the original Contra was kind of like, it's an awesome game, but it was kind of lackluster, especially with the final boss. I was disappointed with that freaking heart. But Super Contra steps it up so much, and I really enjoyed playing this with my cousin back in the day. I remember we used to kind of like beat the game. I won't say we were beating on no death runs, but we were pretty close, you know, to doing it that way. I never really hear Contra fans talk about this one over the original Contra game, but still, I love this game very much. It's dear to my heart. Definitely had to make this list. Here is Wizards and Warriors, but before I talk about this one, we gotta take a look at the intro. Man, that intro didn't move you. You got no soul. But anyways, guys, I first played this game back when I was in second grade. I actually borrowed it from a friend, and I was blown away. You know, I was trying to do everything I could to get better at this game because I got stuck at the third level, and then I finally figured out that level, and I just kind of like breezed through the game. It was so much fun. I was so happy with how this game played. But man, Wizards and Warriors, man, there's something about this game. It's in a league of its own. If you haven't played this game, it's one of the best 8-bit adventure games of all time. It's a lot of fun. Definitely worth playing. So I've talked about Moon Crystal before, and a lot of people have not played this game, unfortunately, because it was not released in America, but somebody did a fan's translation of it, and it's pretty much like, it plays like a Prince of Persia game, but it has story told like a Ninja Gaiden game. Like cinematics in this game are really well done, and this is one of those games that will keep you wanting more because you want to see what happens next thanks to the cinematics. Now, I have to warn everybody, the third level can be a little bit difficult, you know, trying to like, there's a time, you have to hit these switches and there's a timer on them. It's really annoying. But once you get past that level, you know, things kind of like get smooth again. The game has good difficulty curves, but sometimes the third level is kind of weird, and then I think the last level is kind of like pretty brutal, but still you'll be able to get past it. You put a little hard work into it. But Moon Crystal, definitely a shame it wasn't released in America, but thank goodness somebody did a fan's translation of it. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You guys knew this game was going to be on the list. My dad actually bought me this game, and I was actually nervous to ask him to buy it for me because I figured he's going to say no. But for some weird reason, in Circuit City that day, he said yes and bought me this game. The boxers that we got stuck on in this game, the first one was King Hippo. And then I got stuck on Soda Pop for a little while because I would waste all my hearts and get tired, and when Soda Pop sees you get tired, man, he starts to move fast. So that was a tough one for me. But those were the only ones we got stuck at for long periods of time, and then we pretty much kind of like, I won't say we breezed through the game, but we eventually got it, and it was a lot of fun. Kid Nicki Radical Ninja. So my history with this game is kind of crazy because I never knew what this game was called, but I always remembered it. And I played it in arcades when I went to go visit my aunt, and I got to play it briefly. Got through the first level, was doing really well. Then I got pulled away from the game, and I never saw it again, and like until years later. And then almost 25 years later, finally found out what it was called. And pretty much, this is a great counterpart to the arcade. I had a good time with this one. I kind of picked up where I left off, actually, and I kind of breezed through the game. Kiwi CRA is also known as the New Zealand story. I don't know why they changed the name. But man, this is another great platform game that I don't know if it really got a lot of popularity on the NES system, but maybe that's because there's so many ports of this game. It was just like everywhere, and that's a good thing. Not every port was great, but I think the NES port of this game was pretty well done. So I remember getting Bionic Commando on my 9th birthday. My mom surprised me with this one. I had no idea that she was getting me this game, and she kind of just picked it out because she thought the cover looked cool. Going into this game, you know, it was a little bit difficult for me at first because I didn't understand the gimmick of how to kind of use the grappling hook. But once I figured that out, and I figured out how you could swing in and kick people in the face, I was sold on it pretty much. This game was pretty tough for me as a kid, you know. I had to have help from my friends, and once they kind of taught me what I needed to do in this game, I kind of picked up and took off with it. So definitely one I had a good time with. Today, I love the Mappy Land games, but back when I was a kid and I first got this game, I did not want this game. I did not think I was going to like it. I forgot what game I was trying to get before this one, but I ended up getting this one. But it actually grew on me. I thought this one was a lot of fun once I figured out how to get past the levels, how you had to collect all the cheese. Now, I think there's this game has 4 gaming loops you have to go through, to kind of get through all the areas pretty much, all the scenarios. But that's one thing I don't like about this game is that it keeps looping, you know, to the beginning of the game pretty much. I wish that the game had some kind of an ending or whatever like that. At least I did back when I was a kid. But still, man, this is one of the cool games out there. I mean, I know the cover doesn't do it justice, but Mappy Land is all right. Double Dragon 2 on the NES was a great game, and I had a great time playing this game with my cousin back in the day. Now, I could appreciate this game for being less violent because, as you guys know, the arcade game, that scene in the beginning, I'll just never forget that. But thankfully in this game, they add story cutscenes, and they add a better ending pretty much. You know, Marion gets saved instead of getting shot down. If you play on Supreme Master, you have to play on the hardest difficulty to unlock that ending. But man, a great experience with this game. Definitely one of the greatest on the NES. You're probably shocked to see Double Dragon 3 on this list. Well, Double Dragon 3, for me and my friends, me and my cousin played through this game, and it was hard in the beginning, but we got used to it, and we didn't really struggle like a lot of other people did with this game. As you guys know, Double Dragon 3 was weird because if you die once, that character was done, so you have to be very careful about switching out your characters when you earn new characters as you progress through the game. Just to let everybody know that this is probably the best version of Double Dragon 3 out there. I played pretty much every version of that game. At least I think I have. I played the Game Boy one, which was, ooh, man, terrible. I played the Genesis one, and I played the arcade version. I think this is the best version of that game. Also, this was the game that you could do the double cyclone kick. If you guys know what a cyclone kick, that's what they used to call the hurricane kick back in the day. Here is Verse Super Mario Brothers. So I don't know how this came to be made on the NES system, but this is a very different version of Super Mario Brothers Part 1. So this one adds a little bit more difficulty. It adds a save system, and you can actually save your high score into this game, which is nice. I remember when I first laid eyes on this at the pizza shop when I was a kid, and I told my mom there's something different about this version of Mario Brothers because I had pretty much played out the NES version, so I could tell that this game was very, well, I don't want to say very different, but it's different. Different enough, I would say. But now we have this unofficial version out on the NES, and I think it's pretty cool. I would tell everybody this is probably the best version of Super Mario Brothers to play. It's like, it's just different enough, and it's actually pretty awesome. And hopefully some of you guys in the comments have played this game and you pretty much know it in and out. But yeah, guys, definitely check this one out if you have the chance to play it. You guys knew that Rainbow Islands was going to be on this list, and yes, this game is the official sequel to Bubble Bobble, even though Bubble Bobble kind of strayed off and did its own thing. But Rainbow Islands is where it's at, and I feel like this is the best game in that trilogy. Now, this PAL version you're seeing here was done by Ocean. Now, they don't really have a great track record for like good NES games, but still, this one actually looks better than the NES version that was done by Taito Games. Now, I only got this version of the game because I want every version of Rainbow Islands because it's one of my favorite platform games of all time. And, you know, just seeing all the different versions out there is kind of cool. So I got this with a trade from my buddy, thankfully, Cliff. Thanks for looking out for me, buddy. I appreciate you. But honestly, there's no reason for anybody else to get this game unless they're a Rainbow Islands enthusiast. So let me know what you think about this one compared to the NES American version. Alright, so Felix the Cat is really cool because it's very similar to Super Mario Bros. 3. And when I say similar, it's similar in the way of you get these different outfits that have these different features that'll help you during the adventure. It's actually pretty cool. Now, the game is not on the level of Super Mario Bros. 3, but it's actually pretty fun. But the only thing I have against this game is that some of the levels can be pretty long sometimes, or at least when I was playing this game back in the day, and I was trying to beat it, you know, some of those levels were like long, man. I was like, what the heck is going on? Or they started to look like too much of the same stuff pretty much, so maybe that was it. But anyways, guys, Felix the Cat, definitely worth adding to your collection. Alright, so here is Little Nemo the Dream Master. I love this game, but I also hate some of the backtracking you have to do in this game. It's like, man, what the heck, man? It would have been perfect if you'd have to do all this backtracking. But definitely one of my favorites of my childhood. It was weird when this game came out because I remember the movie was, well, we thought the movie was going to come out and we never saw the movie, so we got the game before the movie. The movie came out like in America like years later, which was weird. So but definitely a solid game. Definitely, I think a lot of game that people should pick up if they get it. If you're trying to get into the NES, I feel like this is one of the games you should have for the system. And finally, we have Mickey Mouse Capade. I still remember the day I got this from KB Toy Stores. My dad bought this for me. I was actually looking for Super Mario Brothers Part 2, and we couldn't find it, so ended up getting this game instead. And I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time, I felt like I was in for an adventure, especially the way the cover looked for this game. So when I first played it, I was pretty impressed. Definitely one of my all-time favorite games. The ocean level, one of my favorite level in the game, even though it's the shortest level. This game just really hits all the nostalgia for me. I would say if you have not played this one, definitely try it out. You might be surprised at how much you like it. Alright everyone, so I hope you enjoyed the video. This is my NES collection, and those are my favorite games. I know a bit different from what you guys are normally see when it comes to like top NES games or NES collections. But still, hope you guys found something cool here. Hope you enjoyed the video. But anyways guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave you guys with a little montage of my collection. Radical Reggie, and I'll see you all in the next video.